Hi, I'm Vinny, and this is Vinny's View. I know what you're thinking. Vinny, why aren't you in the minivan? Unfortunately, I cannot be in the minivan tonight. I had a special screening of the movie I'm about to talk about, and I really couldn't do it during the day. So, I don't have that elaborate lighting system in the minivan yet, so couldn't do the review in the van. But here I am. I'm talking about this new documentary I just saw called Heart of Stone. Heart of Stone is by a filmmaker called Beth Cruvant. And this movie centers around Weequahic High School in New Jersey, in Newark, New Jersey. Um, Everyone has a very a bad view of what Newark is all about. People have make jokes about Newark, New Jersey, and but years ago, in the I guess in the 40s and the 50s, up until about around the 60s, Weequahic High School was actually probably the top high school in the country. In fact, in the movie, it says it was the top high school in the country. It a Pulitzer Prize winner, Philip Roth, came out of this school. It was just a tremendous, amazing school. It was predominantly a Jewish school, about 90% Jewish, in a Jewish neighborhood. Weequahic, part of Newark, was a very Jewish neighborhood. But it was an amazing school. It turned out, doctors, lawyers. It was just a really incredible school up until around in the 60s when the race riots started. And the race riots not only brought down Weequahic High School in a lot of ways, obviously, but it also brought down Newark. And Newark was never the same since the race riots in the 60s, and it really just plunged into into a desperate situation. Very violent, became a very violent city. Kind of did live up to a lot of the the views of how people look at Newark now. This movie is really centered around the past and the present of Weequahic High School. That right now, Weequahic High School is dominated by the gangs, the Bloods, and the Crips. The people who benefited from their great education at Weequahic High School looked back at how the school is now and really wanted to do something to help the school. And really, what they did was they founded an alumni association, really, that would try to help the school and do what it can to raise money. And they felt very strongly about this school, and why shouldn't it be able to return, back to the glory days of how it was, back before the incidents and before it turned into a really rough school. The group is led by a guy named Hal Braff, who is one of the originators of the school. His son is Zach Braff, who you might know from Scrubs and from Garden State, which is a terrific movie. Also, there's someone named Richie Roberts involved in this group of alumni, and Richie Roberts was portrayed in American Gangster by Russell Crowe. So it's kind of an odd thing that these really some real connections to Hollywood. But these are just some of the very, very successful people that came out of Weequahic, and they really felt strongly about getting, helping these kids and raising money to benefit them, try to help their football team. They support the football team, which actually won a group championship for the first time in a million years, evidently. And they also raise money for scholarships. But none of this would really work out if they didn't have someone within the school to really help these kids get the best out of their education, and that is Ron Stone, and that's the movie is based really about him, and he's really Heart of Stone is the name of the movie. He's the heart and soul of the movie. He's the principal of Weequahic High School, and he grew up in Newark, and he grew up as in the rough and tumble streets of Newark as well. And his real goal was to get the Crips and the Bloods to actually work together and really come together, because he knew if they kept fighting and warring against each other, the school could never survive. So what he did was really amazing. He got the Bloods and the Crips together, and to work with each other and try to quell some of the violence. And it's really the success of a lot of these kids and how they got out of the high school and actually graduated was really because of him. The passion that Ron Stone had for these kids. I mean, he was really like a father, and in a lot of ways he was a father to some of these kids who didn't have fathers. And some of the kids in the school didn't have families, and they had foster families they were living with. So he really took it upon himself to really help these kids and do whatever he can, obviously, to bring the Bloods and the Crips together, but also help the kids on an individual level and really work with them and try to have them see past Newark, see past the violence in Newark that they had to live through every day. And in a lot of cases, he was successful. A lot of the kids in the film graduated. Most of them did, actually. And some of them went on to college. So, you know, his efforts and his passion for what he does really is evident on film. And the fact that these kids did graduate and, you know, kind of, you know, were willing to talk to each other, willing to talk to their sworn enemies, really, and really get over their conflicts through dialogue, which, you know, really is amazing if you know, if you think about how these gangs just will fight each other just by, you know, walking down the wrong block. So, you know, his efforts were just absolutely amazing. And, you know, again, it's his passion for Weequahic High School and for Newark, and trying to, you know, his goal is to get Weequahic back to the way it was, you know, in the 40s and 50s, the #1 high school in the country. Now, a lot of people might think that was crazy, but, you know, that's his passion, that's his goal. And you know what, you know, he's doing his best he can to make that happen. And really, it's quite an amazing story. You know, I grew up about, you know, 5 miles from Newark, maybe not even really. And, you know, it's, you know, it's always known as a very rough neighborhood. And, you know, you really, you know, take your life into your hands and go into some of the neighborhoods. You know, this really puts a face on Newark and on the high school. And, you know, I think it's a very powerful story. And, you know, even if I wasn't from the neighborhood, I think this would be a really, from the area, I think this would really be a powerful story anyway. It really is an amazing story. And, you know, to see someone like Ron Stone really put himself out there and to really try to help these kids find a path to a more successful life away from gangs, away from, you know, the rough streets of Newark. It's just really admirable. And, you know, it's a really a terrifically made, powerful, emotional documentary. I really was riveted the whole time, and it was really, you know, in a lot of ways it was very emotional too, and especially at the end. So, you know, I'm going to say this movie is a terrific documentary. It's powerful, and it's definitely worth seeing. And I know it's not. It's probably going to be very difficult to see because it's probably not going to be in wide release. So I'm going to say go to heartofstonethemovie.com, and there's probably lots of information there as how you can see this movie. I know it's going to play in some festivals, and but I think it's really worth seeing, and really well made by Beth Cravant. So I'm going to say see this documentary if you can. Okay. All right. So I'm Vinny. That was Vinny's View. Hopefully next time I'll be in the minivan. Got a lot more movies to review this summer, so check in and see what's up next, okay? Thanks.